Hello and welcome! Tonight we are diving headfirst into the whirlwind world of reality television, where fortunes can change in an instant. Empires built on friendship and cocktails can crumble, and the cameras capture every single devastating blow. We're zooming in on a name synonymous with one of the biggest reality franchises ever, Tom Schwartz. Once the affable, slightly goofy counterpart in a power duo, Schwartz has just pulled back the curtain on what he calls a tumultuous period, a brutal end to 2024, and a rocky start to 2025 that saw his professional world collapse on two major fronts. We've got the exclusive details, the raw emotion, and the shocking timing of events that would test anyone's resolve. Get ready, because Tom Schwartz is reflecting, and what he reveals is a story of lost chi, shattered dreams, and incredibly expensive lessons. Los Angeles, April 10th, 2025, the glittering premiere of The Valley Season 2 at the chic BLVD steak. Cameras flashing, reality stars mingling, the air thick with anticipation for Bravo's next chapter. But amidst the celebration, People magazine caught up with Tom Schwartz, the 42-year-old Vanderpump Rules veteran, now navigating the landscape of its spin-off, The Valley. And while he was there to promote a new season, the conversation quickly turned to the wreckage of the recent past. Schwartz, looking perhaps a bit weathered but striving for composure, confessed that he's finally found a measure of peace, but only after navigating an absolute minefield at the tail end of 2024. What kind of minefield, you ask? We're talking career-defining, life-altering explosions. First up, the dream that turned into a nightmare, the closure of Schwartz Sandy's. Remember Schwartz Sandy's, the much-hyped, aesthetically ambitious lounge co-owned with his longtime friend, business partner, and fellow Vanderpump Rules lightning rod, Tom Sandoval. It was meant to be their magnum opus, a step up from their junior partnership at Tom Tom, a place infused with their personalities, for better or worse. Schwartz didn't mince words when describing the impact of its demise. "I felt like I lost my chi, lost my flow," he admitted, painting a picture of not just financial loss, but a deeper, almost spiritual disorientation. Think about that. Losing your chi. That's your life force, your energy, your very essence. According to ancient philosophy, he continued, the vulnerability palpable. "I lost control of my business." The man who often seemed to float through drama suddenly found himself captaining a sinking ship, unable to steer it back to shore. He emphasized the personal stake he had in this venture. "That was my first real business that I started and financed with my partners." This wasn't just lending his name. This was his capital, his vision, his reputation on the line. The failure wasn't abstract. It hit him directly in the pocketbook and seemingly in the soul. He delivered a line that speaks volumes about the brutal reality of entrepreneurship, especially in the notoriously difficult restaurant and bar industry. Let's just say it was a very, very expensive learning lesson. You can almost hear the unspoken figures behind that statement. The sleepless nights, the mounting pressure. An expensive lesson indeed. But Schwartz, ever the optimist, or perhaps just putting a brave face on disaster, refused to label it a total wash. "But I don't look at it as a failure," he insisted. How could he? He poured his heart into it. "Hey, a lot of love went to the business," he reflected, perhaps thinking of the initial excitement, the design choices, the staff, the patrons who did show up. "I'll build such a good community there." He clung to the positive aspects, the fleeting moments when the dream felt real. He reminded everyone of the journey. "I always dreamed of opening my own bar one day. It was a long-held ambition, partially tasted with Tom Tom, where he was merely a minority stakeholder. Schwartz Sandy's was meant to be the culmination, the proof that Tom Schwartz, the lovable sidekick, could be a boss, a successful entrepreneur in his own right. Its closure wasn't now hold on to your hats, because this is where the story takes a turn into the realm of unbelievably cruel timing. Just as Schwartz was grappling with the gut-wrenching reality of shuttering his dream bar, dealing with the financial fallout, the emotional toll, and the inevitable public scrutiny, fate, or perhaps the ruthless machinations of network television delivered another crushing blow. In a revelation that adds a thick layer of pathos to his ordeal, Schwartz confessed the devastating sequence of events. "I don't think I've ever acknowledged this publicly," he began, signaling a moment of raw honesty. "But the day I solidified the date in which we were going to close Schwartz and Sandy's, imagine that moment. The final decision, the acceptance of defeat for his first business, this place he poured his heart and soul into. A dark day undoubtedly, and then, the next day," Schwartz revealed, his voice likely heavy with the memory, "I found that Vanderpump Rules was ending, that is, as he knew it." News broke that the show, the vehicle that had launched him and his co-stars into the stratosphere of reality fame, the very platform that enabled ventures like Schwartz and Sandy's, was undergoing a radical shakeup, a reboot, a new cast for the upcoming season 12. The implication was crystal clear. The original cast, the faces viewers had followed for over a decade, were effectively being put out to pasture. Let that sink in. One day, he finalizes the closure of his dream business. The very next day, he learns the show that made him famous, his primary source of visibility and likely income for years, is moving on without him. Schwartz himself summed it up perfectly. So was a double whammy, a brutal 1-2 punch delivered with staggering precision right at the end of the year, sometime in early December or late November of 2024. Talk about kicking a man when he's down. Now, Schwartz is nothing if not self-aware, at least in hindsight. He admitted that neither of these developments came as a complete shock out of the blue. "To be honest, I knew both of those things were going to happen at that point," he conceded. The writing, perhaps, had been on the wall for both the struggling bar and the aging reality show facing calls for a refresh, especially after the explosive Scandoval drama reshaped the VPR universe. "I had conceded," he stated, but he drew a fine line. "I didn't give up. It wasn't a lack of fight," he implies, but an acceptance of the inevitable, a pragmatic if painful recognition of reality. "I just kinda knew that it was time to close our bar. We were at the point of no return, a point many businesses reach, but one that feels intensely personal when it's your name above the door." Still, he managed to find a sliver of positivity in the bar's final moments. "But we ended on a high note. We had one of the best months ever. A last hurrah, a final blaze of glory before the lights went out for good." Going through this trial by fire, losing a business, losing a foundational TV role practically overnight, has clearly left its mark on Schwartz. But it's also given him a new perspective. The man once known for his laid-back, almost detached demeanor now speaks with the hard-won wisdom of someone who's been through the ringer. He expressed a whole newfound respect and admiration for anyone who's ever opened a brick-and-mortar small business. Forget the reality TV gloss. Schwartz got a crash course in the harsh realities faced by entrepreneurs everywhere. He specifically mentioned small business owners, coffee shops, retail, bars, and restaurants. He's walked a mile in their challenging shoes, and the experience humbled him, and he didn't sugarcoat the difficulty of his own venture. He opened up about the sheer toll of being a bar owner, using a visceral, almost brutal analogy. He called it a meat grinder. Let that image linger. A meat grinder, something that chews you up and spits you out. It's a grind on your personal life, your professional life. He elaborated, listing the familiar sacrifices. Late hours, early mornings, the relentless demands, the constant pressure, the blurring lines between work and life. It ground him down. But even amidst the darkness, Schwartz searches for the light. He believes the ordeal, however painful, wasn't entirely destructive. "I think I'm a better person because of it," he asserted, suggesting personal growth forged in a crucible of failure and loss. "And I'm grateful for the good experience." Gratitude might seem like a surprising takeaway from such a disastrous period, but it speaks to Schwartz's attempt to reframe the narrative, to find value even in the expensive learning lesson. Of course, this professional turbulence comes after years of personal upheaval as well. We all watched his relationship with Katie Maloney, his former wife, play out on Vanderpump Rules from their wedding in season 5 to the eventual heartbreak. Katie filed for divorce back in May 2022, adding another layer of complexity and emotional baggage to Schwartz's journey long before the bar and the show met their respective fates. It paints a picture of a man who has weathered significant storms in multiple areas of his life over the past few years. So where does this leave Tom Schwartz now? He claims to be at peace. He survived the double whammy, processed the losses, and emerged, he says, a better person. He's landed on his feet, at least partially, by joining the cast of The Valley, offering him a continued platform on Bravo, albeit a different one. He's navigating this new chapter, perhaps humbler, perhaps wiser, certainly more experienced in the harsh realities of business and the fickle nature of fame. The closure of Schwartz and Sandy's marks the end of a specific dream, a partnership, and an era defined by Vanderpump Rules glory. The reboot of VPR signifies a changing of the guard, forcing original cast members like Schwartz to find new paths. His reflection at the Valley premiere wasn't just a casual chat. It was a public reckoning with failure, loss, and the brutal lessons learned when reality bites hard. He faced the meat grinder and came out the other side. He lost his chi, but is seemingly finding his footing again. The question now is, what's next for Tom Schwartz? Can he translate these hard-won lessons into future success? Will his time on The Valley mark a true comeback, or is it just a temporary port in the storm? From the dizzying heights of reality stardom and dream business ventures to the crushing lows of closure and cast shakeups, Tom Schwartz's recent journey is a stark reminder of the volatility inherent in the worlds of entertainment and entrepreneurship. A very, very expensive learning lesson indeed. Paid not just in dollars, but in heart, soul, and perhaps a little bit of that lost chi. He claims peace now, but the echoes of that tumultuous period will surely resonate for some time to come. That's the inside story for tonight. A tale of resilience, reality checks, and the relentless grind behind the glittering facade. We'll be watching to see what happens next. Thanks for tuning in. Keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, and we'll see you next time for more breaking entertainment news and revelations. Good night.